Hey chess lovers! Welcome back to the channel. If you're passionate about chess and looking to truly elevate your game, you're in the right place. We know that just playing game after game can sometimes feel a bit aimless, right? Being stuck without seeing any progress in your hello rating is frustrating. Today, we're going to dive into something incredibly helpful, a structured training plan designed to make your improvement journey not just effective, but also enjoyable and rewarding. That's why I've put together a detailed, 3-chapter approach that will guide you step by step. Let's break it down. A chess training plan contains 3 main topics: learning, improving your calculation skills through chess tactics, and playing and analyzing your games. Our first chapter, and a crucial one, is all about learning. I recommend dedicating about 1/3 of your available training time to this phase. The core idea here is to identify and focus on the areas of your game that need the most attention. Think of it as a self-assessment of your chess skills. So, how do you do that? The answer is, analyze your games. We'll review this in detail in Chapter 3. Based on your findings from that analysis, turn your observations into training tasks and adjust your training plan accordingly. Example: review this opening line and add it to my repertoire. Solve tactics with the same motif I missed. Practice rook endgames. After you've reviewed a solid set of your own games and worked the obvious weaknesses, you can start building a next-level study plan. For intermediate players, improvement comes from working on a few core areas beyond tactics. On the next slides, I'll highlight some of the key areas to focus on. Think of this as a reference guide. Each point could easily be the subject of a full lesson or video on its own. Let's start by the middle game. This is where the real strategic battles begin. Move beyond simple tactics and learn the key strategic themes that guide strong play. Here are some of key ideas for middle game plan. 1. Pawn structure and weaknesses. Understand the different type of pawns, isolated, doubled, backward and passed, and learn which are desirable and which ones you can try to avoid. Identify weak squares created by pawn move. When to open a position using your pawns. Typical plans in common structures like the minority attack, the kingside pawn storm and so on. 2. Piece activity and coordination. Activate your pieces to control open files, diagonals, and key squares. Weak squares and outposts, how to create and exploit them. Pieces must work together, not individually. Rooks belong on open or semi-open files, knights love outposts. Active pieces create more tactical opportunities and tactics often flow naturally from good piece placement. This will help you to win many games. Essential endgames. Even if your basics are sound, expand your toolkit. Here are some essentials for improvement. 1. King activity. In endgames, the king becomes a fighting piece. A central, active king often decides the game. 2. Pawn play. Passed pawns are your most powerful weapon. No key concepts, opposition, outside passed pawn. 3. Basic theoretical positions. King plus pawn versus king, the square of the pawn, opposition. Rook endings, Lucina and Philidor positions. 4. Principle of 2 weaknesses. 1 weakness can be defended. Create a second target to break through. Once you reach a certain level, say, around 1000, at some point you will need to focus on your openings repertoire. There's no need to study endgames in depth if you don't reach the endgames with an advantage or at least equal chances. Some people will tell you that learning openings isn't that important, and that it's enough to just follow opening principles. I disagree. It's incredibly frustrating to find yourself in trouble early in the game, surprised by your opponent's moves, spending time to play the first moves and be unsure how to respond. I'll be honest, it takes time and effort. But it's very rewarding to know how to play well the first few moves, understand the ideas behind them, and complete the opening phase with a good, or at least not bad, position. I'll dedicate a full episode to learning openings. Let me finish that chapter with a piece of advice. Focus your learning on one topic at a time for several weeks until you've mastered it to a reasonable extent. Don't spread your attention and time across different subjects. That will only create confusion and reduce the efficiency of your study. The second element of the training plan is calculation. It's a key ability that separates players. It matters in every phase of the game: opening, middle game, and end game. For intermediate players, the easiest way to strengthen calculation is to train chess tactics. Good tactics practice can dramatically raise your playing strength. Tactics are short, forcing sequences of moves, often ending in material gain or checkmate. The most common way to learn tactics is by solving chess puzzles. Depending on how you approach puzzles, you could be getting better each day or simply repeating the same routine and standing still. So that raises the real question: what's the right way to train your tactics using puzzles? Based on my experience and research on the subject, here are the key pieces of advice. 1. Consistency is key here. Aim for daily practice, even short sessions help. Tactical skill is built like any other muscle, through regular, repeated practice, not occasional bursts. If you can spend an hour a week on puzzles, it's more effective to practice for 10 minutes a day over 6 days than to cram for a full hour once a week. 2. Prioritize accuracy over speed. There is a temptation to solve the puzzle as quickly as possible or to try a first move not knowing how exactly your opponent will respond. Your goal is to improve your calculation skill and not to get good at bullet or blitz games. When you play a rapid game, most of the time, it doesn't matter whether you see a tactic in 3 or 20 seconds, but overlooking your opponent's reply because you played too fast could cost you a piece or a game. Before clicking anything, in your head, visualize the moves one by one until you reach a final position. Take your time to consider all the possibilities. In particular, push yourself to find the best defenses for the opponent. Only after you've decided on your full line do you play your move. 3. Retry the puzzles or the themes you failed. This will help you work on the themes or patterns you haven't yet mastered. Use a platform that saves missed puzzles so later you can go back and review the puzzles you got wrong. On Lichess, go to the puzzle themes and then go to the dashboard, the improvement areas or the puzzle history menus. On chess.com, use the custom puzzles menu. You can either review the puzzle you failed or select one or several themes. Retry the puzzle you failed on a regular basis, but leave enough time after the initial failure so you don't simply remember the solution. 4. Review the tactics you missed in your games. By analyzing your games you will spot the tactics you missed. This is very useful. You probably know that you can save a chess position using the standard FEN notation. You can then review and analyze the position later. Lichess and chess.com in partnership with Chessable provide additional features. If you play rapid or classical games in Lichess, go to Puzzle. Then select from My Games menu. In Chessable, you can train personalized tactics from your games. This feature is activated when you connect your Chessable and chess.com accounts. Chessable identifies mistakes you've made to create personalized puzzles. With this, you can focus your tactical training on patterns that you're more likely to see in your own games, making it easier for you to spot them in the future. This is a great feature, but you'll need to upgrade to a Chessable Pro membership to use it. And finally, we arrive at Chapter 3, Play and Analyze. Of course, the best way to test your progress is by playing. But playing alone isn't enough. What really accelerates improvement is thoughtful analysis. For some players, games analysis is a difficult and painful exercise. However, it is crucial for your improvement. You need to understand what you did well in a game and figure out what your weaknesses are. Before diving in the game's analysis, I need to reiterate what I said at the first episode. This is not appropriate for blitz games where you play fast and don't take time to find the best move and to validate it. Also, do not play too much games because, as I said, you need to analyze them and keep time for learning and for tactics improvement. For game analysis, here's a straightforward, repeatable method you can use to get the most from every game you play. 1. Replay without an engine. Turn off the evaluation bar, the best move arrow, etc. The goal is to find your own mistakes first. Go through the game and pause at key moments. What were my candidate moves? What did I miss? Identify turning points, a blunder, a bad defensive move, and so on. 2. Turn on the computer analysis. Use the engine as a coach. Check the critical positions you already flagged. Compare your main line with the engine's best moves and note why it's better. Focus only on big swings with an evaluation changes by 1 point or more. 3. Identify themes. Categorize your errors and blunders. The idea is to group your findings into recurring issues. 4. Create action steps. As I mentioned in the learning chapter, working on your identified weaknesses and errors is the priority. Convert your findings into training activities. Example: solve tactics with the same motif I missed. Review the opposition theme in endgame. 5. Store and track. You can maintain a spreadsheet or database with key data from your games. I assume many of you haven't considered doing this exercise. Of course, you can use the Insights feature on chess.com or Lichess to view statistics about your games. There is useful information there, but ask yourself the following questions. What am I doing with all this data? Do I use the insights to create action items and adjust my training plan? Let me explain why recording the data yourself is so valuable. Personally, I use a spreadsheet that allows me to perform customized analysis. Entering the data while you analyze a game doesn't take much time, and it provides a clear framework to follow. Here are the key data to extract from your games. General data. Date. Opponent's name and ranking. White or black pieces. The result. Opening data. Opening name. Specify the opening variation if you know it. Score after the opening. Personally, I record the score after the first 10 moves. The objective is to know if you're getting good positions after the opening and be able to do a breakdown per opening's name. Quality data. Did I make blunders? What kind of blunders? Did I make errors? What kind of errors? Try to understand the why behind your mistakes. The objective is to categorize your blunders and errors, learn and to minimize them. Record the precision percentage, if measured by your chess site. Mention if you missed a tactic and identify the theme. And finally specify in which phase of the game did the turning point occur. Opening, middle game or end game. Once you've recorded a large enough sample of games, around 150 or more, you can start running statistics. For example, the win rate with white versus black, average precision, performance after the opening with a breakdown per opening name, and so on. You can also use a moving average. For example, what is my average number of blunders or my precision average over the last 50 games? This helps you identify trends more clearly. These numbers will highlight where your strengths and weaknesses truly lie. Use the findings to adjust your training plan, spend extra time on openings or endgames that show lower scores, or target recurring tactical mistakes. Regularly updating your stats keeps your study focused on what will bring the biggest improvement. So, there you have it, a structured and effective 3-chapter training plan. Remember, this isn't about rigid rules, but about creating a framework that works for you. Be patient with yourself, celebrate your progress, and most importantly, enjoy the journey of becoming a better chess player. If you found this video helpful, please give a thumbs up, subscribe for more chess content, and let me know in the comments which part of your game you're focusing on first. Feel free to share as well your own game analysis tips. Happy training, and I'll see you in the next episode.